How would you like to have the most powered conscious awareness around the most primal animalistic things that drive you and motivate you and compel you to show up in certain ways in a romantic partnership? Whether it's someone who you just met or if you're already married, and anywhere along that spectrum. What I'm about to tell you is something that almost no one talks about and will put you in the driver's seat so that you can be the most empowered version of yourself through cultivating the most safe and reliable circumstance that your nervous system requires in order for you to feel really good about all of it. And not feeling good about it cultivates a felt sense of danger in your body and thoughts to match that. There are 3 primary types of bonding strategies that us as human beings can experience. You are likely experiencing one of them right now, and only one type is safe for you. Let's break it down, shall we? So the first type of bonding strategy happens real quick and is real dangerous and is extremely common. This is called dopamine bonding. Dopamine bonding. Men dopamine bond with pornography real fast, real strong. And when a man is bonded to pornography, then it neurochemically makes it impossible for him to appropriately bond to a human being. Now, both men and women can dopamine bond to each other. It's very exciting. It's very thrilling. It's very energizing and activating. And when 2 people come together in this way, dopamine bonding, they're functionally using each other as a drug, an addictive drug, a truly addictive drug. And what happens after someone experiences their addictive hit of dopamine? It's followed by a dopamine crash. The symptoms of this can be brain fog, low motivation, low focus, depression, anxiety, emptiness, hollowness, low sense of purpose. All of those things can set in. And the nervous system is experiencing the opposite of safety. The nervous system is experiencing the opposite of safety. And when we experience the opposite of safety, our subconscious mind is then compelled to want to go seek safety. And it might attempt to do that through achieving more dopamine. A lot of people have trained themselves to just go and do that through seeking more addictive dopamine. The subconscious mind goes, oh, I felt better when I had higher dopamine. Let me go seek higher dopamine right now. And that can temporarily then actually make you feel less bad, right? The thing that actually provides the strongest sense of safety in that moment, and it softens the dopamine crash, it blunts the dopamine crash so it doesn't feel as bad. The thing that actually helps the most are things that activate something called the ventral vagus nerve, which stems from our brain, and it wanders and touches every vital organ in our body, including our vocal cords. It affects the way that we speak. When it's activated, we are able to have more intonation in our voice. That's a very good thing. The thing that actually is the most healing and nourishing for someone's nervous system when they're experiencing a dopamine crash, it doesn't matter what the crash is from, too, this applies in every dopamine crash situation, is safe, healthy, nurturing connection with another person. Safe, healthy, nurturing connection with another person. That neurochemically fills a person with safety, and it is so neurochemically balancing in such a way that the dopamine crash isn't felt as strongly. Also, in general, when a person has safe, loving, nurturing connection in their life as a predictable, steady part of their life that they're experiencing on a daily basis, then that affects and heals and strengthens the neurology and increases the resilience of the neurology of a person so that that person is significantly less likely to just go chase those dopamine highs because the nervous system has what it needs and isn't feeling an emptiness or a lack of something. And so there's less of a desire to go chase those dopamine highs. But if the dopamine high presents itself, there's less of a crash. But if a person experiences the dopamine crash, then that safe, loving, nurturing connection experienced by a man or a woman is going to make that dopamine crash not feel as bad. So if you are a person who is experiencing a dopamine crash from anything, the best choice you could make is to reach out to someone who you know and trust, who can give you safe, nurturing connection. It can either be in a very loving way, or it can just be filled with laughter. It doesn't have to be all serious. It can just be filled with laughter and silly things that are fun and joyous. So that's the dopamine bond, the dopamine bonding strategy. It is very fun, it is very thrilling, but that lowers the resilience of our subconscious mind. It lowers our ability to handle stress. It lowers our ability to be a high-functioning person because of how it neurochemically affects us when we're outside of the dopamine thrill activity. It can rob us of creativity, motivation, all sorts of stuff. Do not get caught in the bonding strategy of the dopamine bond. Now, dopamine is a part of the other bonding strategies we'll talk about, but it's balanced out by other neurochemicals that are so important, so important. So we're going to talk about some of the bonding strategies that will actually protect you and your nervous system and add an overall felt sense of safety into your neurology. Okay, bonding strategy number 2. And remember, all 3 of these bonding strategies that we will talk about, every single one of them includes the dopamine. It's always there, but there is a safe way to allow the dopamine bonding, but not when dopamine is the primary neurochemical. That's really dangerous. So for women, it's called oxytocin bonding. And yes, men also have oxytocin bonding, but women have significantly more oxytocin receptors than men do. And for those of you who are aware of attachment theory, if you're my client, you know we talk about this all the time. It's so important for you to know your attachment style. There are 4 types. Only one type is secure. One type is called anxious. One type is avoidant. And there's another one that's a kind of a mixture in between the anxious and avoidant. For the men who are the avoidant attachment style, you have even fewer oxytocin receptors in your body than men who are not the avoidant attachment style. Which means that the 3rd attachment style is even more important for you. We'll get to that. So the oxytocin bonding happens with safe physical touch, eye gazing, sexual experiences, things like that. This instantly, neurochemically makes a woman begin to bond to the man that she's experiencing this with. It doesn't require any discernment from her. And it happens so quickly. Now, yes, there's discernment leading up to those experiences for her to say, yes, we can have this experience. But discernment requires time. Discernment requires time. The more time that is allowed for discernment, the better the discernment will be. So when a woman jumps into oxytocin bonding experiences very quickly, It's one of the most dangerous things for her. And not just because there wasn't enough time for discernment, but there's actually a significantly larger reason that we'll get into. It has everything to do with the third bonding strategy that men have. And it is dangerous for a woman to oxytocin bond to a man if he is only dopamine bonded to her. This is an extremely common scenario. Men and women have physically intimate experiences together. And if it happens very quickly, and those are the primary types of experiences that they're having together, then it automatically creates a scenario where he is dopamine bonding to her, and she is oxytocin bonding to him. Why is this extremely dangerous for her and him? Well, it's dangerous for him because of all the reasons we just talked about. When a man is only dopamine bonded, then it's functioning as the same way that you would take an addictive drug. That's always going to be dangerous for the neurology of whoever is experiencing that. It cultivates the opposite of the felt sense of safety. The baseline of the felt sense of safety in that person's life goes down. The baseline of the felt sense of safety in that person's life goes down. So that's why it's dangerous for men. Why is it dangerous for women? And men, we're going to get to you. We'll get to you on how to make it the most safe for you. I promise we'll get there. Hang on. But why is it very dangerous for women? When a man is simply dopamine bonded to her and she is oxytocin bonded to him. It's because when a woman is oxytocin bonded to a man, now, in order for it to be safe for her, what does her nervous system and subconscious mind demand? It demands that he must be her protector. It demands that he must be her protector. And if that's not a role he has stepped into, well, for a woman who is oxytocin bonded to a man, the only way that her nervous system now knows how to feel safe in her life is when he is her protector. And when she is oxytocin bonded to a man and she knows that she doesn't have a protector, it creates the opposite of the felt sense of safety in her neurology and in her nervous system. No woman is exempt from this. No woman is exempt from this. A lot of women are actually carrying masculine energy and stepping into a masculine role in such a way where women are masked by a false sense of empowerment, of feeling like they can be in this sexual experience in this way and feel empowered, but they're actually getting an ego trip and a dopamine high, and that always feels empowering in the moment, but it's actually deeply damaging to her. And most women are unaware of that, and many women are hurting themselves in this way and showing up in what I call the wounded feminine energy. And so now the situation becomes her nervous system was experiencing significantly more safety than before that man entered her life. Even if he's showing up in the moments when he is with her, even if he is showing up in the most miraculously perfect ways to provide safety when he is present. But he is simply just dopamine bonded to her. And that is one of the most dangerous things that a woman's neurology could ever experience. And we're going to get into the man's bonding strategy in a moment. And all of this, the way that everything comes together, neurochemically, neurobiologically, explains why slow and prolonged courtship behavior for both men and women is functionally the safest thing for their neurology, whether you're a man or a woman. It is the long, slow, prolonged courtship behavior is the safest thing for a man and a woman. This means massively slowing down physical intimacy. And let me tell you, if you were to ask the version of me from like years ago, I would have scoffed at this idea. I would have dismissed it. I would have made fun of people who would have thought that this was the way. But now I'm coming with life experience and a neurobiological understanding of why this is so true. So, men, let's talk about you now. Bonding strategy number 3, vasopressin bonding. Vasopressin. You all have heard about dopamine and oxytocin. Vasopressin bonding. That's the ultimate male bonding strategy. Vasopressin bonding requires time and discernment. Oxytocin bonding doesn't require that. Men, you touch a woman in the right way and she's oxytocin bonded to you. And she can quickly fall into the oxytocin trap. Where she is now oxytocin bonded to you. But if it is not abundantly clear that you are now her protector, you now become the threat in her life. To a woman, one of the biggest threats that she could experience is being oxytocin bonded to a man who is not her protector. Okay, so vasopressin bonding. What the heck is it? Vasopressin bonding happens through cooperation, partnership, shared goals, shared activities, shared tasks. It could be as little as, hey, help me move this table across the room, or hey, let's work on this project together that will take years. And every little task and project in between. It's a teamwork thing. It's a straight up teamwork thing. When a man engages in teamwork with someone, anyone, he begins to vasopressin bond to that person. And for a man to vasopressin bond to a woman, it takes a lot of time, energy, effort. This is why a man needs time in order to have the discernment to know whether or not that woman is worthwhile vasopressin bonding with, because it's a lot of time, energy, effort, commitment. He's not going to waste that. And what I mean by worthwhile is everything comes back down to safety. His subconscious mind says, is it safe for me to invest my time, energy, effort into her? Is it safe for me to vasopressin bond to that person? And the reason why his subconscious mind must ask this question comes back down to safety is in the biggest storms, in the gnarliest battles, can I trust her to have my back? Or will she crumble and I'll be left alone? Or will she use my vulnerabilities against me? And I just have to fight that much harder. That's the deepest subconscious question that he is asking himself. Can I trust that person with the biggest battles to make that battle easier on me rather than harder on me? Will I have to also support her while I'm battling, or will she support me in this battle? The other question that he subconsciously asks, all this stuff is happening subconsciously behind the scenes. It's pretty rare when a person has conscious awareness of all of this happening, but you have the awareness of it now. The other question he asks is, well, in order for her to have my back and support me through my biggest battles, She must also know my deepest vulnerabilities in order for her to support me in the ways I need most. Can I trust her with my deepest vulnerabilities? And when she has awareness of my deepest vulnerabilities, does she have the awareness, the discernment, the strength to be a strength for me and help me through whatever it is? When he engages in the vasopressin bonding activities, he is now neurochemically set up to be driven to be her protector. And so it is only safe for a woman to oxytocin bond to a man when he is vasopressin bonded to her. Otherwise, she falls into the oxytocin trap, which is one of the most dangerous things that her nervous system can experience. And it is only safe for him to vasopressin bond to her when his subconscious mind has asked those important questions and it is a yes. And when this strategy, the oxytocin bonding and the vasopressin bonding, when that strategy is not happening, then it can become very dangerous for either person involved. Usually it becomes way more dangerous for the women way more quickly because as women, we oxytocin bond so quickly. Women oxytocin bond so much faster than a man could ever vasopressin bond to her. As a woman, the only way that women can protect themselves from the oxytocin trap is to ensure that vasopressin bonding activities are happening first. That vasopressin bonding activities are happening first before she allows herself to fall into the oxytocin bonding activities. This is the only way that she can protect herself. It is the only way. What does that mean? I cannot believe that I'm coming to this point. I never would have thought in a million years that this is where it would be. But for a while now, I've known this. And it feels really good to deepen my own awareness on this and teach the neuroscience as to why. The only way that is safe for man and woman is the long, slow, drawn out courtship behaviors that require vasopressin bonding activities. Because this neurochemically cultivates in a man for him to want to be her protector. That is the only condition it is safe for a woman to oxytocin bond to a man. Otherwise, her nervous system goes haywire. And if she is oxytocin bonded to him, and the vasopressin bond is not being reciprocated, the only way for her to recultivate the felt sense of safety into her neurology is to completely break the oxytocin bond with him so that she can heal from that. Now, this is a universal truth for women. It will be her truth so fast and so quickly. And for a woman who has a past history of trauma bonding with men who were not vasopressin bonded to her, sex and love addiction, I had all of those. For women who fall into that category are extremely hypersensitive to falling into the oxytocin trap very quickly and experiencing the pain of that to a heightened degree very quickly. And for a man who has experienced betrayal after he chose to vasopressin bond to someone, it's going to require a lot more courage, time, deepened discernment before he could ever feel safe to choose the vasopressin bonding activities. He absolutely needs A man in this situation absolutely needs more time to deepen his discernment to know if it's going to be safe for him to vasopressin bond. And I was talking to a client once, and maybe 6 months ago or so, about vasopressin bonding and the importance of it. And he's so smart. He said, "Oh, that's why combat veterans bond to each other so much. It's a literal life or death situation. Combat veterans tend to have the strongest experiences that life could present to a person, to experience the strongest vasopressin bonding. So someone who has had that now has a comparative analysis of what solid, strong vasopressin bonding needs to look like. And so that might elevate his standards to what is required, to what he brings into a romantic partnership. And so an experience like that, or a man who has experienced betrayal after vasopressin bonding, that man is going to come to the table with requiring more time to deepen his discernment, to know whether or not it's safe to invest in vasopressin bonding with her. It all comes down to safety. And so to a man like that, dopamine bonding feels safer. And in order for our nervous system to be in a healthy place, women must be oxytocin bonded to people in their lives, because it goes outside of romantic relationships. It goes into friendships. We oxytocin bond to our pets, our friends, our family. That ventral vagus nerve, I always picture it the color of green. Green light, go. We want this. This is a yes for our nervous systems. Women must have oxytocin bonds in their life. Men must have vasopressin bonds in their life in order to feel safe and anchored. This is what anchors us to safety. Those oxytocin and vasopressin bonds. Do whatever you need to in your life to ensure that you have safe oxytocin and vasopressin bonds in your life. This is a non-negotiable to anchor your subconscious mind and nervous system into safety. And the stronger that those bonds are, and the more truly safe that they are, safe meaning reliable, predictable, you can call on them, they will be there. The more that you have that in your experience, and that anchors into your neurology, the easier every single part of your life will be. The way that you function in everyday life will skyrocket, because when you have that felt sense of safety anchored into your nervous system, your subconscious mind no longer has to be on high alert. Being on high alert is so neurochemically and energetically depleting to us. It robs us of our creative energy, mental clarity, our sense of purpose, and the way that we can show up for others that we care about. So the message for women: do not go into oxytocin bonding strategies if there is not vasopressin bonding activities present. It is so dangerous for you. It will do the opposite of providing the felt sense of safety for your nervous system. And men, in order to anchor the strongest felt sense of safety in your nervous system, engaging in vasopressin bonding activities is a non-negotiable for you. Be mindful, and yes, that does require discernment and time. And the message for both men and women: do not jump into the dopamine bonding activities, the dopamine bonding strategy will create a significant amount of unrest and a sense of insecurity in your subconscious mind, in your body, and it will affect your thoughts and how you show up. And now that you have conscious awareness of all of this, you are significantly more empowered on the actions you choose to take in such a way that creates the most empowered version of yourself and the most protected version of yourself. You can be protected. Ooh, this is actually really the biggest takeaway. You can be protected and connected at the same time. You can be protected and connected at the same time. For so many of us, connection has led to danger. Connection has led to danger. For women, it's that oxytocin connection when there's not a protector to meet you on the other side. And for men, it's when you have invested all that precious time and energy in the vasopressin bonding strategy, and then you are met with betrayal. For so many of us, connection equates to danger and a threat. But the biggest takeaway here is you can have protection and connection at the same time. And when you do it the right way, that connection provides such more protection for you than when you go it alone. So much more. We are deeply wired to be connected to each other. Deeply wired. Let's use discernment and honor and courage to connect in the ways that are safest for us and also safest for those who we are connecting with. Okay, let's all go get connected and protected. Let's make it so safe for ourselves and so safe for each other. Okay, I love you. Goodbye.